The smooth, beckoning waves gently rock the peaceful wooden structure on the banks of the Hudson River at Albany. Centuries have passed since this small ship first carried Captain Henry Hudson and his crew of 18 men across the rough waters of the Atlantic to New York's serene harbor. The voyage of 1609 opened the eyes of Europe to a new world. There would be encounters with native peoples, an exchange of knowledge and goods, and exploration of a land unlike anything any European had ever known. The door to North America was opened, and the world was changed forever. This small antique vessel is a time machine, in a way. The boat you are looking at is really a replica of the original Halfmoon, which plied these waters nearly 400 years ago. In the early 17th century, it carried a crew of hardy adventurers who helped write this nation's history. Today, crews of 7th graders have a chance to step back in time to encounter Hudson Man and Hudson, the mighty river.
As you can see, it's a pretty attractive boat, and I thought, wow, I'd like to be a part of that. And I went down and I worked on it a little bit, and it kind of grabs you. You know, not only is it a beautiful working old ship, but they do these great trips with these 7th graders. I mean, it's hard not to like it.
The students also operate the ship just as Hudson's crew did. They go into the rigging, they release the sails, they steer the ship, they navigate, and pursue all of the activities that Hudson's crew would have done in terms of measuring the world around them. So they're checking depths of water and tidal currents and weather conditions and everything else one have to measure and observe to keep the ship operating safely.
Henry Hudson was an English explorer who stood firm in his belief of the existence of a northeastern passageway until 1609.
And the cutting edge of geography at that time really helped theory that it would be possible to either sail to the northeast, over Russia and down the other side into the Pacific Ocean, or perhaps to the northwest over the North American continent and down the other side, or possibly straight over the pole.
After 2 failed voyages to find a route to Asia by way of Northeast Passage, Henry Hudson's sponsors, the English Muscovy Company, finally lost faith in him.
He did 4 voyages, and almost every voyage there's some sort of personnel problems the captain didn't get along through.
They were exposed to extreme weather conditions, diseases that were associated with ship life, scurvy, and malnutrition.
Reynolds is captain of the Halfmoon replica. He is an experienced sailor who takes since a trip to give them a small taste of what Hudson and his crew feel on their voyages.
We have sailed on the Hudson River with our crew of 6th grade students, for example, during Hurricane Floyd, when we had hurricane force winds blowing over the deck of the ship. The students simply had to respond to what they faced right there.
It's sitting crew the same way Henry Hudson would did his own crew.
He was very professional at everything, and he went through safety of everything and taught us all before he did everything. He was like a teacher for us.
Chip has thorough knowledge of both the history of Henry Hudson and the Halfmoon.
After looking unsuccessfully for a northeast passage, Hudson defied his contract with the Dutch East India Company, sailed for America in the fabled Northwest Passage. On September 5th, 1609, the Halfmoon reached the New York harbor. Unsure of how shallow the water was, Hudson sent a rowboat ahead to check depth. On September 6th, somewhere in Upper New York Bay, the Native Americans attacked the rowboat, wounding most men, including John Coleman. Strangely, on September 18th, Hudson makes this journal entry. Land is the finest for cultivation that I have ever in my life set foot upon. Their natives are very good people. Somewhere near Albany, Henry Hudson realized the water was becoming too shallow to continue. Angry by their failure to go farther up the river, the crew picked fights with natives for no reason at all, a bad farewell to the hospitality of America.
It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. We get to do a lot of stuff that the real sailors did. You could be on lookout, which was up on the front of the ship, and you'd tell the captain and the person who was in the helm if there was any boats or buoys or anything in front of the ship and how far away it was. Or you could be in the helm, which was actually steering the ship with the staff.
Just something that takes you out of everyday life right here. I mean, when you get on the boat, it's like suddenly you're in a different time and you're in a different place.
Time was looked at differently. We have watches, and we worry about minutes, how many minutes past the hour it is. In Hudson's day, they would talk about arriving in a season. We'll be there in the spring. And if you showed up in fall, you were late.
The voyage of Halfmoon in 1609 brought its captain to watch the river that now bears his name. Hudson's third voyage, honorable in the sea of history, soon became the wave of change that spread through North America. The exploration of the Hudson River, though it did not lead to the fabled Northwest Passage, opened the way to the colonization of what is now New York State. History tells us that the encounters between Europeans and Native Americans were not always positive experiences for either group. The crew of the Halfmoon and the native people that they encountered were no doubt unaware that they were on the forefront of momentous change. The Halfmoon had become a pivot point on the axis of time. Fast forward to September 2001.
Mind-boggling, and I still probably don't understand it. It's something that I'll remember forever, and it's something that I'll be able to tell my great-grandchildren about, you know? I mean, I was there.
The crew of the Halfmoon again finds itself in the Hudson River just below the island as Manhattan. Once again, this tiny ship finds itself at a turning point in history. Just a few moments after 8 a.m. on this beautiful, clear September day, a crew of 7th graders is witness to another moment that promises to shape the life of this nation.